What is up, Square Nation? Welcome back to No Counters, No Combos, and today we're coming at you from the mobile command center. How do I start this? So there's a lot of talk in the community about like which card is better in regards to your ultimate or your secret rare slot in decks right now. And the two cards that we're going to be talking about today, making a direct comparison, are going to be Supreme Kai of Time, Space-Time Unraveler, and Heroine's Lineage. So if we're looking at these cards in a vacuum, Supreme Kai of Time came out in set 12, Vicious Rejuvenation, as one of the secret rares, one of three, and immediately had impact in the game. I mean, just the sheer value that you get from this card being essentially a one-drop activate battle when you have 3 or more energy, and then also having a board clearing ability just gave decks that edge that they kind of needed. Like, yellow has always been a color in consideration with lack of removal. It's really good at, stopping effects and resting cards, but what do you do with those rested cards? You just leave them there for your opponent to hit you on the clapback, or you try to get rid of them. And sometimes, fighting for board in yellow is not as efficient when you have to worry about defensive combos, defensive counters. If you're playing against blue, you have to worry about Sensu Bean and stuff like that. So giving spot removal or giving mass removal to a color that seriously needed it has kind of tipped the scales a little bit. But with that being said, aside from, Sin, and then shout out to Joey Palladino from Crossworld TCG and his blue-yellow skill list, yellow really hasn't been that top-tier competitor, as of right now. It's one of the weaker colors in the game, in my opinion, right next to green. Right now, black decks, red decks, black decks, red decks, even some blue decks are just doing really well, because that's just seems to be where the meta is going. Now, everything's obviously going to shift when Set 13 comes out, but if we're talking about secret rares and their abilities to maybe not only close games out, but get you back into the game and help you recover, I wanted to talk about these two cards in specifics because they do two completely different things. But they can help you recover and just kind of give you that survivability. So we already kind of briefly talked about Supreme Kai of Time, being a one-drop activate battle. You play her for 1 energy as long as you have 3 energy. She's a 40k swing. She's not double strike. She's nothing crazy like that. But then she also has an activate main where she basically board wipes your opponent, including their battle cards and their unisons, not ignoring barrier. So she doesn't get around barrier, which is what kind of balances her out, but she can help you recover to fight back and reestablish board against your opponent. And that's really nice because, a lot of decks can go wide right now, and being able to, just kind of fight for board, efficiently for 2 energy is really good. And if you're playing smart, if that's the last thing you want to do on your opponent's turn defensively, you can activate battle for 1, play her, use her as an offensive 40k swing on your turn, and then tap 1 to wipe your opponent's board. Obviously, she does have that RFG factor like most of the secret rares do. When she leaves the board, she gets removed from the game, so you can't recycle that secret rare. So that's the application that Supreme Kai of Time is going to have in just kind of getting you back into the game, or maybe eliminating your opponent's board so that you can fight back and gain control and resource the game if that's the aim that you're going for. But at the end of the day, face value of 40k swing is still really, really good. Now, if we're looking at Heroine's Lineage, this card is very, very interesting. And I know there's been a lot of rumbling in the community. I know, Eddie St. Hilaire from FOE has been bolstering this card and boosting it up. And I'm glad to see it's finally creeping over that $100 price tag. But these cards are completely different. They do 2 completely different things. The only reason that they're being compared in the same sentence is because they're both generic SCRs that any deck can use, and there's no restriction on what you're playing. You could just jam it in any deck and it's usable. So that's why the versatility and the usability of these SCRs are making it part of the conversation. But if we're looking at Heroine's Lineage, it's our first secret rare extra card I think that we've ever gotten in the game. It has the ultimate tag like all the other secret rares, and it's activate main. For 5 energy, you can remove this card from your drop area. Choose any number of Heroine cards in your hand. Energy costs 5 or less and different names, whose energies cost add up to a total of 10 or less, and play them. And you can choose one of your cards to get 5k power for the turn. That's a mouthful, right? I mean, that's going to specifically be the SCR for the Heroine deck, which is your Bulma leader that you got in Battle Evolution. But that's not what makes this card good. What makes this card good is the generic Activate Battle skill that it has. So Activate Battle for 1 energy. If your opponent has 3 or more energy, choose one of your opponent's battle cards where energy costs 7 or less and gain control of it. So why is this good? So we are all familiar with the term shotgun for game, right? If somebody puts a beefy battle card on the board and they're calculating, you're at 2 life or you're at 3 life and they have a triple striker or something like that, and they go ahead and shotgun and waste all their resources to try to get you for that last kill or that last kill shot, this is now where this card becomes relevant. Tapping 1 energy and taking control of that battle card as long as it's 7 costs or less is going to completely stop that activation or that attack, because in sequencing, if you don't know, your opponent attacks, they combo out, then it passes over, the initiative passes over to you for your combo step, which Activate Battle takes place in the combo. So if they shotgun in, I don't know, let's use Scientist Fu as an example. Scientist Fu is a very popular overwhelm from back in the day. It was one of the most successful finishers in the game. 1 energy, overwhelm for 7, or overwhelm for 1 with 7 and drop. You would play it, 25k double strike, draw 2, and you would proceed to shotgun. 25k double, dump your entire hand, and then you just watch your opponent either cry or combo out, and then you cry on the clapback. But in this instance, if your opponent's going to swing with Fu and they shotgun all their cards into it, you tap 1, you take control of it, the battle fizzles because the connection for the attack never is successful because it's still in your combo step. So all of that, combo power, all of those resources that they just used to shotgun into that battle card is now getting taken away and put on your side. And you gain control of the card, so you don't lose it, you don't have to give it back. For those Yu-Gi-Oh players, it's change of heart or brain control, I think, is probably a better comparison, because you don't have to give the card back. It now becomes your card. And if you're fighting from behind and you get to take control of their last-ditch effort to put you away, you're now going to reestablish control on your side and be able to kind of take them out on your turn if you're successful enough to do so. So these cards, both of these cards are very good. They have really nice applications in kind of helping you recover and get back into the game, helping you control, your opponent's overextension, if you will, especially with Supreme Kai of Time. If they want to put out all these threats on board and they're somehow not able to kill you, you can just kind of hit the reset button and go forward. They're both definitely good secret rares for decks that want to go longer games, like mid-range decks. Like if you're blowing out your opponent turn 2, turn 3, sometimes even turn 4 if you haven't drawn it yet, it might not be the best secret rare for you to use, because 9 times out of 10 you're probably not going to play it. But if you're playing that long game, you're getting 4, 5, 6 energy. Baby players, I'm not sure if baby players are going to make the cut on Baby Hatch to play these guys, but those decks tend to go long. A lot of blue decks go long, mid-rangey. So it's just a matter of player preference. Now, as far as which card is better, let's pump the brakes on Heroine's Lineage a little bit, okay? Like, it's a great card, don't get me wrong. I would never bash a card. I think all the cards in a vacuum are good in their own right, and they all have very unique applications, which is what's going to make them good, essentially. But if we're looking at cards, if we're just looking at the cards just themselves, face value, in my opinion, there's no way Heroine's Lineage is better than Supreme Kai of Time, simply for the fact that it's an extra card, okay? Being an extra card, you only have that one application. You can only use it as its effect. You can only use it, especially if you're not playing a Heroine leader, you can only use it as that 1 energy activate battle, snatch steal, so to speak, right? That's it. There's no other application for this card. You can't combo it. you can't swing with it, you cannot do anything. So you're not wasting, but you're committing your ultimate, your one of in your entire deck, to a card that only has one application. That application might be very strong, but it's not as versatile as Supreme Kai of Time, and here's why. Supreme Kai of Time can be played on either player's turn, okay? As an activate battle, so can Heroine's Lineage, but let's face it, you're probably going to use that defensively more than offensively, unless there's a pesky blocker that you want to get rid of, stopping you from winning on your opponent. So you can use Supreme Kai of Time to end your opponent's turn, like that last interaction, so that you have a 40k body on your turn, or you can use it offensively to get an extra swing, okay? The activate main, tap 1, board wipe your opponent, and battle cards and unisons. The fact that there's removal for unisons is huge. Unisons have been introduced to the game since set 10, and they immediately kind of lit the world on fire because there's not a lot of cards that can interact with unisons positively or negatively, right? So having an answer to a unison that's built up 5, 6, 7, 8 markers, and we're gonna get there because there's some new unisons that are coming out that just gain markers super quickly. So being able to, for 1 energy, get rid of that threat, which is not only, you guys have to remember, not only are you getting rid of that unison as an offensive threat, you're now shutting off the opponent's ability to free play their body counters in Charismatic, God Sealing, Yamcha, and Prideful Transformation Vegeta, and you're also stopping them from being able to play cards like Dormant, cards like Spirit, Final Hope Slash, cards like Wolfang Fist, cards like Release from Evil. Those are all cards that, in conjunction with unisons, can be played for less than their printed cost, which is always a good thing in the game of Dragon Ball Super. So being able to, for 1 energy, get rid of that, if your opponent's holding on to 2 or 3 counterplays in their hand that they now can't activate for free because you got rid of their unison, it is going to set them back. So that is a huge momentum swing when you're playing the advantage game, or when you're trying to fight for board against your opponent, and it's just going to put you back, into the driver's seat, so to speak. So that kind of like reset button for battle cards that get out of hand, and also unison that gets out of hand, is fantastic. Not to mention the miscellaneous applications for Supreme Kai of Time. She is a battle card, so she can be used for a 1-cost 10k combo. That alone makes her more versatile than Heroine's Lineage, because there are different applications for you to use it. So not that Heroine's Lineage is a bad card, and her hovering around $125 right now, that seems fair. I mean, in my opinion, SCR is probably always going to hover around the $100 mark. But once you start getting into those premium, $300, $400, $500 SCRs, it's because how they can impact the game. I don't think Heroine's Lineage, impending a buyout, of course, is ever going to be as valued or on the same tier as Supreme Kai of Time, simply because of the limitation in applications that she has. So when you're talking about the best SCRs in the game, generically speaking, obviously, you're looking at cards like Cell X, you're looking at cards like Baby Hatch, you're looking at cards like Supreme Kai of Time. Those cards are just generically good because they can be used in many different applications. Obviously, Baby Hatch, you're going to need to be playing blue, and Cell X, you're going to need to be playing some kind of form of green or yellow. But when those cards come in, the impact that they have in the game is what puts them over the top. So I'm not saying Heroine's Lineage is a bad card in the slightest. I think there are some really nice applications for it. If you're on a budget, it's not a bad investment to drop $100 to $125 on a secret rare in this game that you're going to be able to use in any deck. So I think if that's what's kind of putting you guys on the fence right now about, the price gouging and stuff like that in the market, it is what it is at this point. You're not really going to be able to avoid, market fluctuation, because us as buyers and sellers are what drive the market. Would I pay $125 for Heroine's Lineage? You know what? If I needed an SCR for my deck and I needed something generic that I could kind of just use on the fly, Defensively, sure, I would probably pay $125 for an SCR. I don't have to because I was lucky enough to pull one, but obviously that's not what we're talking about. And then if you're looking at the price tag for Supreme Kai of Time, you know, climbing back up into that $500 range, that's some serious cheddar. If you have the means to do so, definitely pick it up. She's always going to be a really good secret rare. It's always going to be a good card. It's always going to see play. It's probably, I might get a lot of heat for this in the comments, but it's probably the best generic SCR that we have in the game, simply because there's no limitations on what deck you can play it in. But let's pump the brakes a little bit on Heroine's Lineage. I know there's a lot of hype around it. You know, it's going to have the waifu tax in the community because it's got Bulma and Videl on it. It is a good card, but let's not over exaggerate the applications the card has in the game. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Which SCR do you prefer? I think they're both very good, and I think Heroine's Lineage has specific applications, but I think Supreme Kai of Time is much more generic, therefore being much more usable. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and please hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything no counters, no combos. We really do appreciate the support, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Be there or be squared.